This week, I spoke with a producer who had just returned from the European film market about a month ago. And she said something that stuck with me that I wanted to share with everyone here today. And that is that pre sales are getting smaller, they're getting harder to actually close. And in some cases, they're not meaningful enough to actually close finance on a film. Now, this isn't a the market is dead take. It's not one of those videos. I always take these comments with a grain of salt, right? For every sales agent out there who is struggling, there's always another one who's thriving. That's the nature of a hit driven business like film, right? So I don't tend to get sucked into this stuff. And ultimately, I'm an optimist when it comes to the film industry. But I have noticed this shift subtly as well, particularly just when it comes to general sales agent appetite to get involved in projects early. And that's exactly what this is. It's a shift. And if you don't understand it, there is a good chance that you're building your film and your finance plan around money that simply isn't there or doesn't exist anymore. If you're new here, my name is Alexi Uzas. I'm a film producer, and on this channel, I break down how films actually get financed, packaged, and sold based on my experience doing those things over the past 12 years. Most filmmakers are still building their projects backwards, and this is one of those moments where the rules have changed slightly, enough that it matters. Now, before we dive in, I have a book coming out soon about how indie films actually get made. And you can join the waitlist by clicking the link in the description below. It's going to drop very soon. So if you're interested, head over there. Now, let's break it down. Let's break down what's actually happening in the market and what we can do as producers, filmmakers to better position our projects to make sure that they do actually get financed and move into production. Now, for a long time, pre-sales have been one of the core engines of independent film finance. It's really one of the main ways that they got financed. How that would work is a producer or a sales agent would sell the rights to the film to distributors around the world before the film was even made. So they would sell it based on the script and the package. Those contracts that they had with the distributors would then be cash flowed through either advances that they paid or through going to a lender who would lend against those contracts. So in simple terms, you were using the future sales to finance the film now. And this became especially important after the studio system broke down, because instead of having one studio that you could go and fund your film from, that would then distribute everything, you had multiple distributors across multiple territories, each contributing a piece of the budget. And that system of pre-selling the film still exists today, but it doesn't work quite in the same way that it used to. So what's changed? Well, the easy conclusion is that there's less money in film overall, but that's not quite right. There's still a lot of money in entertainment. And in fact, global production expenditure is increasing, right? So it's not quite right to just say the film industry is dying or it's collapsing or whatever it is. What has happened is that attention has fragmented, right? Audiences now have streaming, they've got social media, they've got YouTube, they've got short form content as well as long form content, right? 20, 30 years ago, these things didn't exist. And so, really, the main form of entertainment was film and TV. Now, all of those different entertainment sources are competing for the same time. And a lot of that content is now free. This video that you're watching right now is free. So, even though the overall industry is large, the pool of money that's flowing into independent films specifically has tightened. And that is what's now showing up directly in pre-sales. So they're becoming smaller and they're becoming harder to secure. And sometimes they just don't move the needle in the way that they used to in order to help you complete your finance plan. So how does this all play out? Well, what we're seeing on the ground is just more cautious buying from distributors. Distributors are more risk averse. Without cast attached, many of them prefer to just to take the approach of, wait and see, like wait till your film's finished and then, show it to me. If you're getting a lot of those responses, this is likely why. They rather see that finished film and then assess it rather than take on the risk early. So instead of buying in development or pre-production, they sit back and wait. And that creates a loop, right? Because then fewer early deals are getting done. Pre-sales then become less reliable, which then just reinforces the idea that projects are too risky and that the whole pre-sales market is dying. So it's just like this self-fulfilling prophecy. And I think a lot of it just has to come down to confidence. So if you're relying on pre-sales without really strong packaging, you're going to feel that coming up against that wall immediately. Now, what we need to understand is that this is still partly rational from the distributor's perspective, right? It's just not the full picture because film returns they're not linear, right? They're driven by outliers, driven by hits. So a small number of films are always going to generate a disproportionate share of the revenue. So when the market becomes overly conservative, there is an argument that it reduces its exposure to the very outcomes, those outlier outcomes that still matter and that really matter the most in this particular industry. At the same time, distributors are dealing with tighter margins, right? The margin that they used to get on DVD was massive. That no longer exists. It's gone. It's disappeared. They've got higher marketing costs to reach the eyeballs that they need to, and there's more competition for attention. So their business has taken a hit, right? So their behavior makes sense at their individual level, but at a market level, it can still become this self-reinforcing loop. And the reality is that both of those things are true, right? It's a hit-driven business, which means you need to be in the game, you need to be funding stuff. At the same time, your business is contracting, right? So what still works? Well, this is where people can kind of jump to the wrong conclusion. It's that you hear all of this and just assume pre-sales are gone completely. And this is where I really disagree with that general proposition, because they haven't just disappeared. I know of a filmmaker, actually multiple filmmakers who recently have done close to $1 million in pre-sales, right? So there are still sales agents out there who are doing real business when it comes to pre-sales. Those deals are still happening. But from what I understand, it's just more selective now and there's just less of them. So what still works? Lower budget genre still really works, provided it has clear audience positioning, right? It's very clear on who the audience is. You've got a disciplined budget where you're not just trying to raise as much as you can, and you've got directors with a really strong point of view. There are still sales agents doing business, right? Doing pre-sales business. The target for us as filmmakers, producers, is just smaller. It's more competitive, so we've got to be really at the top of our game when it comes to trying to get pre-sales. Now, this is the part that actually matters. If pre-sales are weaker, what does that mean? Something has to replace that part of the finance plan. Either your budget has to shrink or something's got to replace it, or a combination of both. That something is equity. And this is where a lot of filmmakers are behind. They're still structuring their films as though the market, sales agents, distributors, pre-sales are going to close that gap for them. In many cases, it won't anymore. So really from this point on, two things become critical when it comes to raising finance for a film. Number one, your budget needs to reflect reality. So you can't build a budget based on what you hope the market will pay or what you hope the film can make. It really needs to just reflect these things. What can you raise as a filmmaker? Number two, what can realistically be pre-sold? Sometimes that's nothing. The majority of my films, the vast majority, not all, up to this point, don't have pre-sales. They've had a sales agent putting up an MG, but not pre-sales. So if that is zero, it's zero. Then you have to look at what incentives you can access. If pre-sales are softer, like I said, the budget has to adjust or private equity has to come in. They're really your only two options, which means that you need to get comfortable with equity. If you want to finance films in this market that we have today, you need to understand how to raise private equity. And even a lot of the sales agents now, that's what they're doing. They're developing relationships with equity. So rather than going out and pre-selling, they're finding equity investors to bring in and they get to sell the film. Finding investors or being able to raise money, it's about number one, how do you frame risk? Number two, how do you structure projections? Number three, how do you position it as an investment? And number four, how do you actually go out and find those investors to pitch to? Because that's really what needs to be done at this point. And this is where deals are getting done and films are getting financed today. It's where more equity is coming in to the picture. And this is backed up. You can do the research, like BFI, Screen Oz, they're all talking about those things. So the indie film finance industry or market hasn't collapsed, but it has shifted, right? Pre-sales, they still matter. Sales agents, they still matter. Distributors, they still matter. They all still matter in the equation. They just don't carry the same weight that they used to, which means the role of the producer becomes even more important. The filmmakers who are able to adapt to this will keep making films because they now have adapted to the new conditions of the market. The ones who don't will keep waiting for a version of the market that isn't coming back, and they're the ones that will have the stalled films, the lack of progress, and won't be able to get their films financed and into production.